Hello everyone, my name is Griffin and we are back with another reaction video. We are reacting to the comments section, and as you can see, for those who don't know, Brett Cooper is no longer part of the comment section, which is sad. I liked Brett Cooper, she was really good. I hope she makes her own channel if she hasn't already. I don't know if she does have one. So yeah, but this one is from the comments section. It is called She Slept with 100 Men in One Day. Now, I don't know why anyone would want to sleep with 100 people in one day. It just seems like, what do you accomplish for doing that? Like, what sort of achievement do you get? And it's like, why? Just why? I don't get it. I mean, I understand that sex feels good. It's great, but why? I just don't get it. Let's see what the video has to say.
I should put a warning in the beginning of this video. If there are children around, get them out. This is not for their ears. I have been watching this story of a young woman unfold over the past several weeks online. She's been slowly growing in popularity, and her story seems so absurd that I did not and could not believe that it was true. Then I learned that it was very much true, but I didn't want to just do a story covering her and giving her even more attention. That is until I learned that another creator has also been following her story and just filmed an entire documentary around the event that made her viral. And what resulted from that documentary warranted an episode. The young woman who has gone viral for sleeping with 100 men in one day is named Lily Phillips, and she is only 23 years old. She's an creator from the UK. One outlet covered this.
They really had to censor the word OnlyFans. I mean, really? What the hell? I mean, come on. You have to censor that? What the hell is... Censorship, I swear to God, has gotten so goddamn ridiculous. Nobody can say anything anymore because everybody's too fucking sensitive and a goddamn snowflake. Words are just words, people. It is within the context of how you use them. I swear to God, people are too damn sensitive nowadays. But the other thing I don't really understand when it comes to OnlyFans, why are people paying for it? You have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of videos online that are free. Why are you paying for it when it's just a click away for free? I never really understood that. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why are you paying for pornography when there are dozens, if not hundreds of sites that give it to you for free? That's what baffles me, is how these OnlyFans people can actually make money doing this when people can just see this stuff for free. I don't get it. It confuses the hell out of me.
The story, and they said an model's viral documentary and why it sparked a major conversation about
OnlyFans is censored. Sex is censored. I don't get it. But yeah, there's been a big conversation around sex nowadays. It's because sex used to be a thing where it was more, I don't want to say sacred, but it, for a lack of a better word that I can think of, it was more sacred. It was mainly shared between two people who had feelings for one another, or were dating, or were planning to get married. But nowadays it's seen more as transactional. It's lost all of its meaning, all the feeling, everything about it. People nowadays are just trying to have sex because they want it. And it's, people seem to have so little self-respect and so little care for their own body that they just freely, some of them freely give it out, and they don't make people work for it anymore. It's it's just seen as transactional nowadays. There's nothing to it anymore. So it's lost all its meaning.
This is one of the first videos I ever saw of Lily.
I spent 14 consecutive hours getting ran through, and now I'm going to be doing 24 because I'm going to be going for the world record early February next year.
When I first saw that video,
Why is this even a record? Why? Can somebody, I mean, legitimately explain to me what's so great about holding this record? You're just going to be seen as one giant fucking dumb slut. Nobody's going to respect you. Why do you want to lower yourself, like just stomp all over your dignity, your self-respect, your self-worth to the point you just want to get run through by so many people just to have a world record? I don't get it. I honestly don't. It's just, do a lot of you women out there who do this stuff just don't care about yourself? Do you not see any self-worth? Do you not have any self-respect? You know, some guys out there too, I could ask the exact same fucking thing. But I mainly see it from women, so I don't see as much of it from guys. So if it's about the same for guys, then you know what? Both ends. Why the fuck do you do this? Do none of you have any self-respect? I love sex as much as the next person, but you don't see me going out there just whoring myself out to every fucking person I see walking by me. I mean, I'm not, good looking enough for me to do that in the first place, but still, I mean, just, is it like some sort of achievement to be a fucking whore? I don't get it.
I had no idea what she was talking about because I thought there's no way that what I think she's talking about is actually what she's talking about, but she is. One commenter said, historians are going to skip us, which in the case of this girl, I hope is true because it's so embarrassing for our species as a whole, specifically for women. Now, I'm sure as many of you are probably thinking, there is no way this is real. I mean, the words that came out of her mouth do not in any way match the beautiful, well-dressed young woman before you, but sadly, they do. Because a few videos later, I watched as she provided these vlog-style check-in videos throughout her marathon of cycling 100 men through her bedroom and then updating her team and the audience as to how she was doing on TikTok. And she would come out fully clothed, of course. I was not watching anything promiscuous, but she was coming out and giving her team an update and giving TikTok an update as to how she was doing. Obviously, I will spare you those videos, but let's just say that it was utterly vile and simultaneously heartbreaking. And as to be expected, and just what she wanted.
Look, there's something I want to say too. I personally have no problem. Like legitimately, I have no problem with people who want to do this sort of thing. I mean, make money the way you want to make it. I personally don't understand it. I don't understand why you want to do it. I don't understand why people pay for it when the shit's free. But, if it's something you want to do, by all means, if it makes you happy, go right ahead. Get run through to the point where it's a hot dog down a hallway. Go ahead. It's just the other thing you also have to keep in mind is that this stuff is on the internet. And once it's on the internet, you cannot get rid of it. It's on there for good. Until the internet itself is wiped from existence, it's on there. And at some point, if you do decide to do this, you're going to have kids. And a lot of the times, your kid is probably going to be bullied or teased or whatnot to no fucking end through no fault of their own because you decided to be an OnlyFans model. And to some of you people out there, both men and women, you really shouldn't be doing this shit. There are people who have OnlyFans account who do OnlyFans content who really should not be doing it. I mean, as mean as that sounds, there are some of you out there who probably should not be doing OnlyFans anymore because it's just, no. But, you know, to each their own. That's just my personal opinion. Do what you want. Do what makes you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone else. I just don't understand it. I will state what I think, despite if people like it or not. If it upsets them or not, I will speak my mind, even if it makes me sound stupid.
This story was picked up by the media and spread like wildfire. And the absurdity of this mission seems to be a growing trend because creators are seeking more and more outrageous stunts in order to gain and then keep their audience's attention. As of 2023, there were more than 4 million OF creators. So she is just one of millions seeking more disgusting ways to sell themselves. Just a few days ago, I saw another young woman.
I know, I'm sorry I keep pausing so much, but I have so much to say. I paused. We're almost 11 minutes into this. We're not even 2.5 minutes into the video. It's just like Twitch. There are millions of streamers on Twitch, both face cam and VTubers. And people who don't use a cam at all or a VTube model at all. If you're going to do this thing, if you're going to do OnlyFans, you have to understand that you have a 90 to 98% chance it's going to go fucking nowhere because it is so utterly saturated that for you to pop off, you have to have some hell of a content, a major following before you get into it from something else, or you have to be one of the hottest people on the fucking planet. But to gain an audience, just like streaming on YouTube or Twitch, I can probably guarantee you it's about 90 to 95% luck that you pop off or that you start gaining a following and start growing rapidly. It is all based on luck. So don't go into this thinking that this is going to be your only source of income. What it has to start out as is it has to start out as a hobby. Because if you go all in right away and for months on end you get nothing, you're going to be discouraged. You're going to think it's just nothing. I mean, hell, I've been streaming on Twitch for almost 6 years, I think. Yeah, I think since 2018, I believe. So, no, 2018 or 2019, I can't remember which. It's either way. Just like Twitch, I've been streaming on there for 5+ years. I still average 2 to 5 viewers. Mine's going nowhere, and I don't really mind, but you have to remember that going into this sort of thing, it's majority of it luck. So don't go into this thinking you're going to be making uber bucks right away.
Who I've come to learn is a friend of Lily's, who was also going viral for sleeping with young men who were barely legal, who she calls schoolies. I mean, it's just disgusting. It's predatory.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if she was a man, there would be riots in the streets. Nonetheless, I have spent countless hours digging into the lives of these young women.
For those who don't know, schoolies, it's in Australia. It's like a spring break for them. I think, if I remember correctly, it's like their version of spring break or whatever. And some of these people are not of legal age. They're like 16 plus years old. So. Yeah, she got in a lot of trouble when she said this because there are a lot of people who are on schoolies who are not of legal age. I don't know the legal age of adulthood is in Australia. I'm guessing it's 18. But yeah, she got in trouble for this.
Specifically Lily, because at only 23 years old, I have struggled to understand the why behind her actions. And I simply refuse to believe that she is living this dream that she attempts to paint online. On TikTok, she appears in mere 20-second videos, says something wildly outlandish and then disappears again. So no one really knows what's happening after she turns off the camera. That is until YouTuber Josh Peters decided to follow Lily on the weeks leading up to her big day of sleeping with 100 men, and he documented the entire process. And this documentary was not at all what I was expecting. I thought it was gonna be, oh, look how cool her life is, and oh, it's so salacious, and she's so sexy, and this is so cool. And it was none of that. And also, I give huge props to Josh, who put together this video, because he so effortlessly made the point that many of us are trying to make. And so I wanted to walk you all through a few key moments of this video. But I also recommend that you go over to Josh's channel and watch the entire thing, because I think it is very impactful.
You're gonna have to the 100 guys. Do you ever think about what it would be like if you ran into one of them in the streets after that had happened?
When I did 37 guys in a day, I genuinely can't remember any of their faces.
Right.
Well, maybe if I saw that, then like I'd recognise them.
So gross.
Beforehand, I was never much of a... I actually wanted to wait till marriage at one point. I just used to think it was a real special thing.
How can you have that 180-degree shift so quickly? Again, she's only 23 years old. This next part in the video is when she's talking to Josh about how she's going about finding these 100 men. It's just the messages for men.
This is where the applications are coming through.
Where the guys have messaged him.
I had it switched off for a little bit, so it's just...
Gosh.
So how are you doing this? You put out a phone number
Yeah.
and people can just apply?
Yeah, so I put out a little Twitter post.
God, I think many of people watching this will think that I'm being too sympathetic at times, but it's because I'm so angry and disgusted that I shift into a sadness that then might come across as sympathy. But I have both of the anger and the sympathy kind of running at the same time. I don't even,
Look, I understand that when you're young, you want to explore and, you know, live life to the fullest when you're like late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, you know, stuff like that. I get that. I get it. I understand. But for one of your things to be ran through by 100 guys, it's... I mean, would you really call that living your life to the fullest? I don't know. I honestly don't know, but what do I know? I'm just some average dude.
it's disgusting. She's posting something like that, so obviously it's getting hundreds of these gross messages from men. Like, everyone in this situation is disgusting. Everyone is gross. Okay, let's continue.
Is this just going to be completely random as to how you pick them?
Yeah, like we said, we prioritise the ones who have STI checks.
Also, we will find later in the video that not all of them actually have STI checks before engaging in all of this. And she doesn't really care. Like, she cares, but also she doesn't fully know how you even get an STI at one point, which, again, watch the whole video and you'll see, because this dear Josh is teaching her a lot of things that she should have known before engaging in this. So here's the first time in the video where Josh is starting to kind of poke holes in her very confident girl power facade.
Our filming was interrupted briefly by a phone call from Lily's mother. Apparently, she calls Lily every day.
I do feel a little bit like embarrassed being like, Mom and Dad, I'm 100 guys.
Why?
I guess.
The father has to be so fucking utterly disappointed in her daughter. I mean, what sane father would be, I mean, genuinely okay with his daughter deciding, I want to have sex with 100 dudes to set a world record? What honest to goodness father would be genuinely okay with that? I think he would. I think the father would probably be very disappointed, disgusted, worried as all hell, and just... I think the two emotions that would be most prevalent for the father would be worry, number one, because I mean, what father wouldn't worry about what good father wouldn't worry about their daughter? And two, probably severe disappointment. I mean, because how can you be proud of your child when that is their goal?
because it's not really what my parents would have wanted me to do.
No parent would.
Doesn't mean to say my parents are like gonna disown me or hate me or anything like that. I just don't want them to think less of me.
It's like she knows. She knows that what she's doing is off, but she doesn't quite care. And apparently neither do her parents. Apparently they're supportive, which is disgusting. She also mentioned at one point that her dad's friends reach out to her and she thinks it's funny, and her dad thinks it's funny. What kind of father are you? And speaking of girl power,
I'm sorry, if I had a daughter and I had friends that were reaching out to her to sleep with her, they would no longer be my friends. One, I would want to punch their face as hard as I fucking could or kick their teeth down their throat, because that would be my daughter, you sick fucks. And two, if I was a father who was okay with that, I would be I would be a failure of a father. I really would. I don't understand what is wrong with that father. How can you be genuinely happy and supportive of your daughter wanting to get run through by, one, your friends, and two, 100 random dudes, when she doesn't understand the dangers of STDs or STIs, whichever acronym you want to go with? It's just... Continue with the video.
watch this.
I see that you've kind of like taken on the word like and almost owned it in a way.
Yeah, 100%. I don't mind being called I'm sleeping with a...
Quick fact, the original meaning of the word slut was actually somebody with a dirty room. For those who don't know, that was the original meaning of the word slut. It was somebody with a dirty room.
100 guys in a day. That is the definition of a slut,
At
surely.
least she's aware. She's
Would you
self-aware.
refer to yourself as a feminist?
Yeah. At the end of the day, doesn't feminists mean like you just want equal rights for boys and girls? And yeah.
This is not the work that women in the 1920s were out with picket signs marching for. Sleeping with 100 men in one day. They would have never thought this was possible. I never thought this was possible. What?
They fought for your right to... I can't remember if it was the first or the second movement, but both of them fought for the right to women to be able to vote and work outside of the house and be a breadwinner themselves. That's what the first and second generation fought for. The third generation apparently is fighting for your right to be a fucking slut and not care about yourself and think that it's a girl boss move.
One and the same. Right to vote, right to sleep with a record amount of men. Modern day feminism.
Guys are always going to me, so I may as well try and profit off that bit.
I mean, not all guys are going to sexualize you.
Josh is fantastic. There's no better person to do a documentary like this than a young man about her age looking at her and saying, no, not all men are going to sex you. You don't have to accept this. It's heartbreaking to watch him say that to her because he's trying to signal to her that no, this is not the only option. Clearly in her past, she has experienced that, but that is not fair to say about all men. At all. Something in her mind feels out of balance. It reminds me of Balance of Nature, which actually keeps...
Here's the thing. There are plenty of women who who genuinely believe that all men see women as sexual objects. The reason why some of these guys only see some of these women as sexual objects is because that's how they are portraying themselves to these guys. If you're doing stuff like that woman is, then yeah, a lot of guys are just going to see you as a fucking sex object because that's how she's portraying herself, is as an object for sexual pleasure. That's how she is portraying herself. People are going to see what you are, or going to label you as something depending on how you portray yourself. If you portray yourself like that, then yes, they're going to see you as some sort of sexual object. They're going to see you as somebody who doesn't have much self-respect, self-worth, or anything like that. That's just how it works. How you portray yourself to the world is how the world is going to see you and judge you. You want to portray yourself as a great person who's kind, generous, respectful, and all that stuff, then portray yourself as that, and that is how the world is going to see and judge you. If you portray yourself as nothing more than a thing for sex or sexual outlet, pleasure, or whatever you want to say, then that is how the world at large is going to see and judge you. That's just how life is. That is just how humans are. So, and it's not 100% of people that will do that. They will look beyond that, but that is how a lot of people are going to see you, because that is how you are portraying yourself. That's just how the majority of the world works. Now, like I said, that's not how all of the world works. There are plenty of people who won't see her as a sex object. They'll question her decision, but that's not how they won't see her as a sex object. A lot of people will worry that she's making a dumb decision and that she should stop and take better care of herself.
My mind very much balanced and very much on track because I love all of the fruits and veggies that I get when using Balance of Nature. Imagine trying to eat 31 different fruits and vegetables every single with a free bottle of the fiber and spice powder. That's Balance of Nature.
I'm sorry, we're going to skip it. I don't much care about this product.
.com, promo code Conrad. Now, unlike Balance of Nature, this is not healthy at all. This is when
it's
Josh
not.
talked to another worker to get her thoughts on Lily's actions.
I think it's really sad. I just worry about her mental health. I'm hoping it's a hoax and it's not gonna actually happen. I don't know. You're gonna be known as the girl that shot 100 guys in one day, and I think that's really sad. The problem is that when you sign up to objectifying yourself, it's like you're signing a deal with the devil. Like, no one is going to see you as a human being.
Now, this part of the video, we're on the day that she's going to partake in this activity. And Josh is there in the morning kind of wishing her good luck, but he is visibly upset and unwell. And I think, again, that speaks to the gravity of what she's doing and the fact that this man cares enough to believe that what's going on is not right.
It seemed the reality of what Lily was undertaking was starting to become slightly more real.
Hello.
Hello, how are you feeling?
Nervous. No, excited. It's nice to actually meet the boys because it puts you at ease a bit.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. Is it
And
going
you're
to
not getting.
How are you feeling?
No, I'm a little bit nervous.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Just putting a baby monitor in here so I can keep an
Oh,
eye
that's
on
smart.
you.
Yeah.
I just want to pause. All of her assistants, her entire team of 9 people, I believe, all their faces are blurred. No one wants to be publicly associated with what they're doing, which again speaks to this undercurrent that everyone knows what they're doing is wrong.
It was just weird. Like, that's all I can describe it as. It's just so weird. Like Lily seemed a bit more nervous than she's seemed throughout this, but
Duh.
still, like, kind of up for it. I just cannot believe in the middle of this, like, super affluent suburb, this girl is about to just have a load of strangers, 100 strangers.
Ugh, it's so sick. And everyone sees it. And Lily just...
And the other thing is that it can be very dangerous because despite how much lubrication you would have to use for 100 dudes, I mean, my God, she's going to end up being very raw and more than likely in a shit, and I mean a shit ton of pain. I mean, just doing it for, I can't speak, in fact, but I believe that if, even with just one person doing it for a continuous amount of time, wears somebody out and makes them sore. But for both men and women, because, it's an exercise. Despite what people think, it is a lot of exercise, depending on how vigorous you are. But she's going to be very raw and very sore and probably in a massive amount of pain. So this, while apparently an achievement or a record or whatever, is also very dangerous. So, yeah.
just does it anyways. There's a part in this video too where Josh asks if there's going to be security, if everyone's had background checks, and she says, oh, no, didn't think about that. But then eventually day of, they did get security, and I think that was largely in part because of Josh's suggestion that, hey, there could be a serial killer in the mist. There could be literally anyone who wants to do her harm. And she just doesn't care. It's just...
Yeah, that's the other dangerous part about this, is not only she's going to be in a massive amount of pain, but these are random off the street people. None of these people are people. I don't know if she knows anybody of the 100 dudes. But these are just random strangers who you have no knowledge of whatsoever. You don't know if they're carrying into diseases, if they are mentally stable, if they're going to do you harm, if they're going to become a stalker. You have to make sure you have some sort of security, and you do background checks, and you make sure every single one of them is tested so nothing goes wrong. And apparently she just has no sense of, survivability. It's like she just does not care about her own life or her own well-being.
Just a blatant disregard for her own safety in every part of this, which is why I think it makes no sense to the average person. Now, Josh was not present for this marathon of debauchery, but he did talk to one of the guys after he came out of Lily's Airbnb.
We were able to speak to another man as he left the Airbnb, although he seemed shaken by the
Look at his
experience.
hands.
How are you feeling?
It's not something that I'd normally do, but I saw it. I thought, what much wrong?
Yeah.
I think I saw it and I just thought, might as well just do it.
Where is the men's self-respect? There's no self-respect in any part of this. So here is at the very end when Josh comes back to the Airbnb. It's...
See, here... For me personally, I don't mind if the person I end up dating or marrying has slept with a couple of people because, you've had a few relationships, sometimes you might sleep with a person you're in a relationship with. I don't mind that. But if it gets to the point where it's like double digits closing in on triple digits, then I'm sorry, no. And this sort of thing, nobody has a sense of self-respect or self-worth. I swear to God.
filthy. And there's Lily standing in the middle talking about it.
I mean, it stinks.
What does it smell like?
Like, brace yourself. Brace yourself.
Oh, holy
I guess it. They actually can.
Again, the angel men, the sweet I forgot about the poor cameraman who's part of this. They're both suffering from just the mere presence of what has occurred. At least have the self-respect and the decency.
God, I would probably damn near throw up too. The smell in there alone. I mean, just from one singular couple having sex, the smell alone, you have to open up a fucking window because there is a smell. Despite what some people think, there is a smell. When you're so used to your own smell, you can't smell it. Other people can. But this is 100 times that. They probably should have cracked a window or had some sort of ventilation.
To clean up after yourself. Of course he's gagging.
It does smell a lot like sex. I mean, and there's rose. That's nice. Did one of the guys?
In the midst of the chaos and the filth,
Somebody brought a
there's
rose.
because one man at least had the decency to bring her a rose. So horribly, disgustingly poetic.
I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
It's not like just having sex with someone.
yeah, just one in, one out. Like, it feels intense.
Transactional.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Definitely.
And she's crying about it. She's crying about it. This is... This is really disappointing and really sad at the same time. It's not right. It's not fucking right.
Okay, just take
Yeah, 1 minute.
In that one 24-hour span, all her self-worth, all her dignity, all her pride, gone like that. Just poof, up in smoke. She's got nothing left. And I think that probably that reality of what she done just fucking hit her.
Just seeing Josh's face here too. Seeing a man's face in this, being so dejected, is equally heartbreaking. But here is a moment of clarity. Here's a moment of humanity. And that's why I wanted to show this video. Because regardless of the facade that she puts out to the world, this is the reality of her actions. This is the raw emotion of what just happened. She says that it's just nothing. It's just a thing that she does. So why not do it for money? Why not make money? Why not do it 100 times a day? This is why. Because it's not just. At the very end of the video, she tries to tell Josh that she was really just upset because she wasn't able to give men her best performance and they didn't have the best experience. And to that I call absolute BS. Does she look like an empowered girl boss to you? Does this prove her theory that it's just and it means absolutely nothing? Her immediate raw response, whether she wants to admit it or not, proves the exact opposite. And this doc did a fantastic job of breaking down that perfect image that women try to create online. With their designer sunglasses and their luxurious flats, they try and attempt to portray this sleek and stylish side of work. Josh came in and completely obliterated that picture. Someone said, this isn't empowerment, this is self-harm. She and those men are doing terrible harm to themselves. Prayers to them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised she's able to fucking walk, let alone get up. I mean, sex is supposed to be something is meant to be something to be enjoyed with the person you're with. It was never meant to become something as worthless and transactional as this. Sex is supposed to be a beautiful thing between two people. And doing it to this degree is about as bad as someone cutting themselves. I mean, you know, not on a physical level as bad, but on a mental level, it's just, it's really bad. People, all of you really need to start looking at yourselves and finding some self-worth and self-respect. Should not be doing stuff like this. This is really, really bad for anyone and everyone's mental state. People really need to start taking better care of their mental health, because this is just horrible.
Someone else said, this isn't the symbol of strength. This is the sign of brokenness. I mean, all of the top comments are like this. Someone else said, this should be categorized as a horror documentary. Someone else said, this is the best anti-film I've ever seen. Someone else called to one of her comments earlier in the video and they said, you know, you just start to disassociate. Babe, that's called your brain and body trying to protect you from trauma. There were a ton of comments that see this for what it is. Someone said, 31-year-old man here. I cried at the end. That was heartbreaking. Her team, those men, all awful people. Her being gifted a single white rose is tragically poetic. Wow. The sad...
Honestly, I think all the people should have just told her that if you don't stop this, we're all going to leave. Or they should have just done a convention and brought her to like a mental institute of some kind, or got her some help. Because if anybody actually truly cared for this poor woman, they would have stopped her from doing this. It's really sad.
The saddest part is that not a single person around her said, maybe you shouldn't do this. While this documentary has gone viral on YouTube, she's already back online promoting her attempt at 1,000 men in 24 hours. It's almost as if she's completely shut down any human emotions and just turned into a robotic character of herself.
Let's see. How many people within a 60-minute span would that have to be? Let's see. 60 divided by 1,000. Oh no, wrong way. She would have to do 16.66666667 guys every hour to get 1,000. No, as you know, as soon as she posted that or even had the thought of doing that, somebody should have came up to her and slapped her across the face and said, no, you're done. bring her to a fucking mental institute. She's going to kill herself doing this sort of shit. She needs serious mental help.
I mean, the fact that she's even considering this goal is asinine. But I want to end this video by echoing some of my favorite commenters out there who were saying these things on all social media platforms in hopes that Lily and anyone else who needs to hear this will. There is a love and an abundance of adoration that does not come at the expense of your soul, but rather comes to save it, where your sins can be wiped away and you can be made anew. And that love can be found in Jesus alone. For now, it looks like Lily will continue her career with new outlandish goals, forcing herself to believe that she is empowered and teaching young women that they can be like her too. But to any young woman watching this, I want to remind you that this is not how sex is supposed to be. Regardless of your beliefs, from a mental, a physical, and a spiritual perspective, this isn't good, and it isn't good for you. You're loved, you're valuable, and you're worth so much more than this. Remember that. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, that was just... I truly think she's broken. On both a mental and spiritual level, I think she's just shattered her. She's broken. I don't know if she can be fixed. I don't know if she wants to be fixed. But something needs to be done. Otherwise, if she keeps on this path, she's probably going to end her own life through some sort of stupid decision. The human body, I don't think the human body was ever meant to have sex that much in one day. Let alone a fucking 1,000 people. Just, no. People out there, like she said, you're loved. There are people who love you. There are people who care for you. Don't do this sort of thing to yourself. You are worth more than the stupid decisions you make like this. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. There's something in my fucking eye. Make sure to subscribe for more. If there are any videos you'd like to see me react to, please make sure to comment them down below or over on my Discord. So, thank you everyone for being here, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.